So you own property with someone you're not married to. Well, what happens when one of you passes away? As estate planning and probate attorneys, we see this kind of situation often devolve into arguments all the time. Now, if you're going to purchase property with someone that you're not married to, whether that's a sibling, a business partner, a life partner, a syndication for real estate investment, you really have to make sure that you have the proper structures in place around that purchase to make sure that not only while you're both alive and your business partners in that rental or whatever it may be you're purchasing, but also that if you pass away, your interest presumably is going to flow to your beneficiaries and not the other person, and with some structure in place to avoid infighting amongst the inheritors of the property and your original partner. These people didn't go into an agreement together, so we have to make sure that when they're forced into this business relationship, that there's proper structure in place to deal with that interest. We see it all the time where two people purchase a home, they both put it in their trust, which is great. 50% interests are protected from probate court, and when one person passes, it's going to go to their listed beneficiaries in their trust. But the problem is, now the inheritors of the property have to deal with the other original co-owner, and if they don't get along and there's not some form of an agreement on how the property is going to be dealt with, it can devolve into a situation where maybe we're in court not for probate to decide who gets what or to transfer property, but maybe we're in court to do a partition action where these people who inherited don't want anything to do with the property. They want to sell it, but the original owner doesn't because he's banking on the cash flow. If we don't have an agreement together to deal with these kind of things, then we are begging for problems down the road. What type of structure is going to be right for you? It really depends. Depends on the situation of who the co-owner is, what the relationship is there, and what your goals are. It may look like an LLC to hold the property and then deal with succession planning within the LLC. It may be a co-ownership agreement amongst partners in the real estate venture for what's going to happen in a succession event and who has a buyout right and can we partition this or not. But you need some formalities around how we're owning that property if we own it with anyone other than our spouse, who we of course just want, the property to go to the surviving spouse. So if you own property with someone you are not married to, it is super important to have a conversation with an attorney ahead of time around what kind of structures we need to put in place to make sure that this property doesn't become a nuisance and a headache while we're alive, and perhaps more importantly, after we pass away. And if you're anywhere in California, soon to be Texas, feel free to give us a call. We can take care of you from anywhere in the state, right from the comfort of your home.